In this short audiobook, I'll share 6 tips that you can use to optimize your Facebook campaigns to drive a better return on ad spend. Facebook ads is a major source of revenue for advertisers around the world, but it can be tricky to get it just right. So let's get started with tip number 1. Manage and optimize your campaigns like the pros. All the Facebook advertising experts out there use external tools to manage and optimize their campaigns. If you use the right tools, you can make your ads perform better and save a lot of time on optimization. People in every role in every industry are seeing the benefits of incorporating automation into their daily paid marketing management, and so can you. If you want to manage and optimize your Facebook campaigns like the pros, you can find a link in the description for a 100% free ad platform that will help you manage and optimize your campaigns on Facebook, Google, and Microsoft all in one place. Tip number 2. Drive more data. Oftentimes, poor return on ad spend comes from a very well-intentioned and common mistake known as oversegmentation. Facebook relies on data to make bidding decisions, so when data is limited, it makes optimizing your campaigns much harder. Even if an ad set is driving conversions, low data volume will cause inconsistent performance, which can cause your cost per result to be volatile. So when advertisers try to break down ad sets into super granular targets, the bidding algorithm rebels. Over-segmenting audiences can limit data and make it difficult to get consistent performance. Testing the removal of segmentation around devices and platforms can be a way to improve performance if conversion volume is low or inconsistent. Sometimes it's not even that you've over-segmented. You may not have segmentation in place for devices or demographics, but if your audience is really small or the geography that you're targeting has a narrow focus, you may wind up with an ad set that is too small to get out of learning mode. In that case, sometimes combining multiple converting audiences can help aggregate enough data to perform better than they did individually. Tip number 3. Look for the outliers. A common mistake that I see during account audits is that once campaigns are launched, the targeting never changes. So if your campaigns are performing poorly, you need to take a look at the performance breakdowns and see if something needs to change. Is there an age range that isn't performing well? A placement? Sometimes even a full platform is spending your budget without producing much in return. I know I just said not to over-segment, and I stand by that, but if something needs to be trimmed down to perform better, it's worth it. If your ad set becomes too small as a result, you can test combining it with another one to see if it will perform better. Tip number 4. Test different objectives. Testing new objectives can be another way to improve return on ad spend. Oftentimes, my clients will use a mix of campaign objectives, depending upon their goals. For instance, some of my clients have had really nice boosts in return on ad spend, from leveraging dynamic remarketing campaigns versus static ones. In another case, a client started testing lead gen forms and had over a 700% increase in conversion rate, leading to a really nice lift in return. There are a lot of different ways that different objectives can be tested to improve performance, so get creative and see what works best for you. Tip number 5. Test different bidding strategies. Sometimes testing a different bidding strategy can give your campaign the boost it needs. I see a lot of people who are tempted to use cost caps, probably because we're used to having more manual bidding options in other channels, and again, many of us, myself included, like to have control. However, while I have seen cost caps work in certain instances, I've more often seen them restrict campaign volume. Because Facebook relies on volume to make good bidding decisions, sometimes cost caps aren't actually the most cost-effective bidding strategy. Rather, I prefer to test lowest cost, or value-based bidding. Lowest cost bidding strategies allow you to tell Facebook which result you want to optimize toward, such as clicks, Facebook lead forms, leads, or conversions, and it tells Facebook to get as many of those as they can, within the budget you've defined, for as low of a cost per result as possible. I commonly see lowest cost bid strategies drive more volume and lower costs than cost caps, but it means you have less control, so you have to put some trust in the algorithm. I recommend testing this with a low budget, as Facebook's bidding algorithm also seems to get a better foothold if it starts with a small budget and then scales. Value-based bidding allows you to define a conversion with a value and set a minimum return on ad spend threshold. Facebook will use those values to maximize volume, while attempting to meet or exceed your goals. Here's an example. One of my clients was very focused on cost of acquisition, so they had been using cost caps religiously. After some digging, the reason they were so focused on the cost of acquisition was that they knew that was the number they needed to hit in order to have a profitable return on ad spend. We flipped the bidding strategy over to optimize toward value, and as a result, Facebook more than tripled the conversion volume while decreasing the cost of acquisition by about 27%. All of that is to say that testing your bidding strategy can help you improve your returns. Tip number 6. Test different creatives. Creatives are king on Facebook. If there's an ad that doesn't seem to be converting, it could just be that the creative isn't resonating with the audience. I highly recommend testing different formats and making different creatives for multiple placements. If you don't customize your creative by placement, make sure to use the post IDs to leverage the same ad unit with aggregated comments and engagements across multiple different ad sets. This will allow you to acquire engagement more quickly, which can act as a source of credibility for unfamiliar prospects. That's it for this video, guys. If you want to run effective advertising campaigns on Facebook, you should check out the link in the description for a free platform that automates most of the workload, so you can focus on running your business.